Good afternoon, fellow Toastmasters and guests. Welcome to the joint online meeting of Speakers Community and Central Mumbai Club. I am pleased to be your Sergeant at Arms for today's meeting. In the online meeting environment, there are few instructions that we follow. I request you to rename yourselves. All Toastmaster can prefix TM to your name and guest can prefix guest. I also request all the speakers and role holders to prefix their role to their name so that it's easy to identify them. I give you 10 seconds for this activity. All speakers are requested to do a quick audio and video check before they start their speech. Tech host will confirm on the settings. I would request you not to type in the chat box when a speaker is speaking, as it disturbs the speaker. You can use the private chat to provide feedback. You are all requested to keep your audio on mute in case you are not speaking. Please refrain from unnecessary movements or sipping on drinks if your video is on. Please turn off the video in case you need to do so. Do not click on share screen unless your speech or role requires you to do so. You can display a hi-fi or namaste when taking over or leaving from a role. You can connect with the Tech Master for any technical glitch. The Tech Master for today's meeting is Toastmaster Monica. If you are a speaker, then please ensure you pin the timer or confirm that the same is visible at all times. This meeting is being recorded. In case you have any reservations, please let us know. You can network during the break and after the meeting. Let me share the mission of the club. We provide a supportive and positive learning experience in which members are empowered to develop communication and leadership skills, resulting in greater self-confidence and personal growth. I welcome the presiding officer, Toastmaster Vrinda, who is professional video editor and graphic designer, having 4+ years of experience in Toastmaster and serving as a chief newsletter editor for District 98. To take care of you through the further proceedings, over to you, Toastmaster Vrinda.
Thank you, Toastmaster Kishore, for that wonderful introduction. Thank you very much. And happy Mother's Day to all of you. Mothers are incredible human beings. They carry us in their wombs for 9 months, bring us into this world, and nurture us as we grow up. They're our first teacher, our first role model, our first friend. They sacrifice so much for us, often putting their own needs and desires aside to ensure that we have everything we need to succeed in life. Mothers are epitome of love, care, and selfishness. Any doubts? I'm sure no. When I was writing today to my mother and saying thank you for what she has given, I had a thought for a moment. What do mothers and the Toastmasters have in common? Can anyone tell me what's common in between mother and Toastmaster? Okay, to save time, I will only judge. Yes, perfect, correct, exactly. Well, in many ways, Toastmaster is like a mother. Just as mother nurture and support us, Toastmasters nurture and support our growth as a speaker and leader. Toastmasters provide a safe and encouraging environment where we can learn and make mistakes and improve. And just as mothers sacrifice so much for us, Toastmasters volunteers their time, energy to help us become the best version of ourselves. Both mothers and Toastmasters play an important role in our lives. They help us grow, learn, and succeed. So let's take a moment to appreciate the mothers in our lives and the Toastmasters who have helped us become better speaker and leader. One of such, my mentor, is also present today in our meeting, who's going to take an educational session. And I would like to thank him also. And let's strive to continue to grow, improve, just as both mother and a Toastmaster have helped us do. Thank you. That was for presiding officer's story. Now let me check any guests present here. I can see Pramila Kulkarni. Pramila Kulkarni, would you like to unmute yourself and introduce yourself, how you come to know about this Toastmaster, and what your expectation from the Toastmaster?
Yeah, hi, good afternoon. Is my voice audible?
Yes, perfectly.
Yeah, I have known Toastmasters Club since long time. In fact, last year I was in Baroda. So just a minute, I will start my video. I had attended the 1 or 2 sessions of Toastmaster Club in Vadodara, and I liked it. The way it is like, given the feedback and count of all ums and ahas or pauses. So I liked it. So today I came to know from one of our friend from my unready community, and that is why I'm excited to join this one. And I want to understand how the effective communication really help us in our further leadership ladder. So thank you for giving me the opportunity. Thank you.
Thank you, Pramila. Thank you. I can see one more guest is coming. Namrata Thakkar. Hello, Namrata Thakkar.
So,
Would you like to introduce yourself and what brought you to the Toastmasters?
okay, so I'm Namrata Thakkar from Andheri West. So,
We can't hear you. Namrata, we can't hear you.
I don't know, there's some mic issue. I'm not on mute.
Yeah. Now I can hear you.
Yeah.
Yes, I was not able to.
So I'm Namrata Thakkar from Andheri West. So just learning public skills, that's the only thing. Public speaking.
Perfect. Thank you, Namrata, for coming here, and I hope you'll get whatever you're looking for from this Toastmasters Club, public speaking, leadership development, whatever your requirement is. I'm 100% sure you'll get it from the Toastmaster.
Thank you.
Thank you. Now let's move to the next session. I will hand over this forum to Toastmaster Vishnu, who is our Toastmaster of the day. Thank you, and over to you, Toastmaster of the day, Toastmaster Vishnu.
Thank you, presiding officer, Toastmaster Brinda. Greetings, my fellow Toastmasters and all the guests present in this meeting. And I'm Vishnu Sharma, and I will be your Toastmaster of the day. Before I reveal today's theme, let me tell you a story. Once there was a king who ruled over a vast kingdom. He was a wise and just ruler, loved by his people. However, he noticed that his kingdom was plagued by greed and selfishness. He pondered over how to bring about a positive change in his people. So one day, the king invited a renowned storyteller to his court. The storyteller mesmerized the audience with a captivating tale of kind-hearted young boy who selflessly helped all those in need. The story touched the hearts of all those who listened, instilling a sense of empathy and generosity. As the days passed, the king observed that the people of his kingdom had started emulating the values portrayed in the story. The acts of kindness and selflessness became the norm. The simple story which the storyteller had said had sparked a transformation in the hearts of the people, fostering a compassionate and a harmonious society. So, my fellow Toastmasters, as you see, stories have the power to shape our thoughts, beliefs, and actions. They inspire us to become better versions of ourselves. They create a very positive impact in the world around us. Through stories, we can ignite a change. Stories are not just a form of entertainment through movies, a web series, or a Facebook, but it's a very powerful tool for education and transformation. Hence, my fellow Toastmasters, the story or the theme of the day is actually a story. So Toastmasters, utilizing the theme, we are looking forward for a beautiful stories through your prepared speeches and table topics. So friends, today is a very special meeting. Why special? Because we have a very informative session, Calm A Sutra, right? The evaluator position by our renowned executive speaker, a distinguished Toastmaster, Arvind. So let me tell you about our distinguished Toastmaster.
Sorry, Toastmaster Vishnu. There is a power cut at our educational session, Toastmaster Arvind Nair's house. So
Okay.
he said we can start with the speeches. As soon as the electricity comes, he'll rejoin.
Okay. So thank you, Vrinda, for updating us. So now let's meet our facilitator team for today's meeting, right? So when I say facilitators, they are the crucial role players who will help us facilitate the entire meeting. Who are they? So let's see our first role player. The first role player starts with a timer. And I would like to invite and welcome Toastmaster Jayesh. Jayesh is a student pursuing MBA from JPIMS, Mumbai. Jayesh has joined Toastmasters Club just 2 weeks back, and this is his first time that he has taken up a role of a timer. So Toastmaster Jayesh, timer. Over to you, Jayesh. Toastmaster Jayesh, can you talk about your role?
Yeah. So good afternoon, everyone. Toastmaster of the day, Vishnu Sharma, fellow Toastmasters and guests. I'm the timer, and it's my duty to time the prepared speeches, evaluations, and table topics. For prepared speech, the time allotted varies as per the project, and it will be stated by the evaluator. For instance, for an icebreaker speech, it is around 4 to 6 minutes. For table topics, the time allotted is 1 to 2 minutes, and for evaluation, time allotted is 2 to 3 minutes. Speakers must meet the specified time criteria to qualify for the awards at the end of the meeting. I will display the green screen at the minimum qualifying time, yellow screen at the midpoint of the qualified time range, and red screen at the end of the qualifying time. Now I will explain the grace time. So for prepared speech and evaluations, there is a 30 seconds of grace time before and after the qualified time range. For table topics, it is 30 seconds of time only after the red screen is displayed. So all the speakers who continue to speak beyond 30 seconds will not be eligible to vote. So I will report the time taken by the speakers when called upon. Thank you, and over to you, Toastmaster of the day, Vishnu Sharma.
Yeah, thank you, Toastmaster Jayesh. Timer. Let's go on and meet our second role player for the day. Let's welcome for the R counter, Toastmaster Sushil. Toastmaster Sushil, R counter. Can you please talk about your role? You're on mute, Toastmaster. Sushil? Yeah.
Yeah. Hi. Good afternoon, Toastmaster of the day, fellow Toastmasters and guests. I am the counter of that for the day. As the counter, I'll note words and sounds that are used as crutch or fillers by the speakers. Okay. During the meeting, I will listen to the crutch words like and, well, but, so, and you know. I will also listen for the filler sounds such as I will note when a speaker repeats a phrase such as I, this means, and of long or short pauses. I will give my report when called upon by the general evaluator. Thank you, and over to you, Toastmaster of the day.
Thank you, Toastmaster Sushil, our counter. Moving on to the third role player as a grammarian. Our grammarian for the day is Toastmaster Shubham. Toastmaster Shubham, grammarian, can you talk about the role? Yes.
Thank you, Toastmaster Vishnu. Good evening, Toastmaster of the day, fellow Toastmasters and guests. I'm the grammarian for the day. As grammarian, it is my responsibility to pay close attention to all speakers, listening carefully to their language usage. I'll take note of any incorrect usage of grammar, as well as any good usage of words, quotes, sayings, or thoughts. As grammarian, it is also my duty to introduce the word of the day. For today's meeting, The word is engender, which means to produce or to develop. The word is engender, which means to produce or to develop. It is used especially when feelings and ideas are being generated. An example of using the word is
Grameen, your word of the day was not very audible. Can you repeat it, please?
engender.
Engender.
I type in the chat. Yeah, I type in the chat box.
Okay.
An example of using the word is the annual company picnic featured activities such as a scavenger hunt meant to engender a sense of teamwork and fellowship among employees. Each speaker is encouraged and requested to use the word of the day. I'll give my report when called upon by the general evaluator. Thank you, and over to you, Toastmasters.
Yeah. Thank you, Toastmaster Grammarian. Let us move to the first segment of this meeting, that is prepared speeches, right? So the first speaker for this meeting is Toastmaster Kishore, and his speech will be evaluated by Toastmaster Rashmi. So I will here welcome our evaluator for the speaker one, Toastmaster Rashmi. Toastmaster Rashmi will present the speaker one. Over to you, Toastmaster Rashmi.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon, everybody. Today, my fellow Toastmaster Kishore will be attempting level 1 project 2 speech. The title of the speech is Credibility of Credit Cards. Timer, please note this, the length of the speech is 5 to 7 minutes. Over to you, Toastmaster of the day.
Thank you, Toastmaster. Toastmaster Kishore, credibility of the credit card. Credibility by the credit card by Toastmaster Kishore.
Good afternoon, fellow Toastmasters and guests. I believe all of you know about credit card. So, how many of you think it's a bad thing to have? Can you please raise your hands? Okay, Urinda, Pooja. Okay, so I believe those who have not raised their hands think that credit card is a good. So can anybody of you tell why do you think that credit card is good thing to have?
I'll say, I think credit card, can I say?
Yes, yes.
Yeah, okay. So I feel credit card is good because it increases your credit score. It gives you 3 months of credit to use, like you don't have to pay it straight away. So you should know to manage credit card, and you get a good credit rating and good interest rate on banks. So at least you should have 2 or 3 credit cards.
Yes, spot on, Namrata. And that's what we are talking about today, how to manage your credit card spendings well. So you can have it a rewarding journey rather than a spending journey. Robert Kiyosaki, one of the popular writer and known for his best-selling book, Rich Dad, Poor Dad, said, don't cut up your credit cards. The problem is not the card. It's the lack of financial literacy of the person holding the card. So today I am going to try to spread awareness how you can make good use of credit card and transform your spending journey into rewarding one. So credit card is a financial instrument which enables you to spend in advance and pay later. But if you miss the due date or payment or on due date, credit card companies will charge you hefty interest on your spendings. This range from 2.5% to 3.5% per month, and it comes to around 30 to 42% per annum. So don't you think that's very huge? Yes. And that's why these credit card companies keep on doing promotions and have come up with various rewarding schemes to trap people in this interest trap. But people who are smart, like all of us who are attending this meeting today in the Sunday afternoon, rather having a nap, will make a smart choices. And the smart choices would be having a credit card which suits your needs the best. So for example, I have 3 credit cards. One is for my daily expenses, which I called as my primary credit card, and other 2 which I use for fuel refilling, and one for the dining in the restaurants, which is linked to my Zomato account. So everybody can have these categories. So you can track your spending simply, like how much you are spending on fuels and how much you are spending in restaurants and so on. So that's about spending. Now let's go to rewarding. So these credit card companies give you reward points in form of cashback points and some reward points which you can redeem against some food vouchers or movie vouchers, or you can use them at fuel stations to refilling of fuel. So keeping track of these reward points and redeeming it before they are lapsed should be done, so you won't miss on these reward points. These credit card companies also send you emails with voucher codes if you spend certain amount in a quarter or a year. So by keeping track of these small things and redeeming these rewards points before expiring or lapsing is necessary. So though spending is rewarding in this manner, but paying your credit card bills can also reward you. So if you use apps like Cred for making credit card bill payments, you will also get cashback points. And you must make sure know about the annual maintenance fees of these credit cards. So it's better to have credit card which are 0 annual fees. And so now I would like to share one tip with all of you. Like on every 1st of every month, you can have a FD of amount of your estimated monthly expenses. This will benefit you in 2 ways. Like you will have money at the end of the month to pay your bill, and it will earn you smaller interest also. So some of you might have thought that how these reward points and small interest payments are not going to make us wealthier, but I believe something is better than nothing, and many a little makes a mickle. So you can practice these rules and have enjoying time spending on credit cards. So now to sum up my speech, I would like to borrow a dialogue from Spider-Man movie. Great power comes with great responsibility. So the power you got from credit card should be used wisely and responsibly. Thank you, and over to you, Toastmaster of the day.
Thank you, Toastmaster Kishore. And I hope and I really believe that, your speech will engender our better usage of our credit cards. So let's move to the next speaker. The next speaker we have is Toastmaster Manoj, and his speech will be evaluated by Toastmaster Manoj Lenka. So before Manoj Lenka talks about speaker number 2, I would like to ask Toastmaster Manoj Lenka. Am I audible?
Yes,
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 sir.
I can hear you.
So I would like to ask you, did you ever tell a story to motivate or influence someone in your life?
Yeah, of course, every day I do that. I'm looking after the welfare of 200 people. Every morning, in fact, we do that.
Right. So thank you, Toastmaster Manoj. Please go ahead and introduce us to speaker number 2.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster of the Day, Toastmaster Vishnu Sharma. And good afternoon to Toastmasters and guests present in today's meeting. Today, Manoj, the evaluator, will be evaluating Manoj, the speaker. That sounds quite interesting. So the speaker, Manoj, engender in 5 to 7 minutes his skills of vocal variety and body language. I repeat, in 5 to 7 minutes timer to note, he has to showcase his skills of body language and vocal variety. Over to TMOD of the day, Toastmaster Vishnu Sharma.
Yes, thank you, Toastmaster Manoj. And I would like to welcome here speaker number 2 with the topic of Tom and Jerry and the race. Toastmaster Manoj, Tom and Jerry and the race.
Toastmasters of the day and fellow Toastmasters. How many of you think that I am going to talk about Tom and Jerry of cartoon series produced by MGM? No. I'm not talking about the cartoon series. This is about Tom and Jerry, the story of 2 dogs from Mumbai, our own Tom and Jerry. They were good friends and used to dwell in the slum area in Mumbai. As a lot of construction activities going on in their locality, they started feeling a lot of challenges in living freely. So at that time, someone suggested, there are a lot of people gives a lot of advices. Somebody suggested that, why can't you shift to Pune? So they were made to understand that life would be much easier in new city. Tom told Jerry, dude, we need to make an engender. Let us run 20 kilometers per day so that we can reach Pune within 20 days. Both agreed to this proposal and started running. They reached some city on the highway by evening. As they were tired, they decided to make overnight stay somewhere in that near to the highway. However, the situations were not so cool for them. There are many challenges in the store. The local dogs from that locality, they would not allow them to relax. They barked so fiercely that Tom and Jerry had to run for their life. Somehow they escaped, but night stay, the whole night they have to run, and the next day morning they reached some other city nearby the road. They had similar experience even at the new place. However, whenever they enter into a new village, the local dogs come together and attack them. So Tom and Jerry did not get any substantial opportunity to rest. They kept on running and moving ahead. As a result, the proposed 10 days plan of journey got accomplished in 5 days. Toastmasters, something similar happens to most of us in our life also. We plan something, But destiny offers surprises and unexpected challenges. Unforeseen bottlenecks on the road make out life difficult. There comes a time when hurdles on the way become unbearable. When we start cursing our fate, some people rush to get astrological predictions. They consult a lot of people. A few of them even told they are under the spell of Rahu and Ketu. अरे तुम्हारा 7.5 चल रहा है, making life difficult for them. A few of us go to the temple and ask the Pandit for options to mitigate the pain by our oaths. In the process, we miss some significant benefits. What are these benefits in these circumstances? Well, as we see the story of two dogs, Tom and Jerry, they arrived at their destination earlier. The challenging situation compelled them to push themselves to give much more effort than planned. Difficulties make you realize your latent potential and strengths. Once we had the similar situation in a forest. Our vehicle stopped working. Tires went into a pit. And when we were trying to figure out how to come out of this situation, wild animals started coming to our direction. To save life, we run like mad. The animals starting chasing us. After a long 10 minutes, we could reach some heights safe from these animals. While discussing, we could find out that we never knew we could run so fast. That is how I discovered my strength. Toastmasters, I started with that, and since last 3 months, I completed one 21-kilometer half marathon in Mumbai, Hiranandani half marathon last year. Another story, a fresh graduate who had ventured into the hoteling business as a startup. The boy had taken loans from the bank, and under the pressure to repay the loan, making considerable investment, when they inaugurated the enterprises, COVID knocked on the door. Hello, and the COVID. Hospitality and aviation are the most hit during this phase. Well, the boy did not surrender to fate, but started thinking creatively. Eventually, he converted all his hotel rooms into safe premium isolation rooms. Fellow Toastmasters, when times are tough, the creative and optimistic emerge as winners. If you think you are sailing through difficulties in life, change your thought process. Start searching for benefits which are being offered to you in disguise. Over to you, Toastmasters of the day, Vishnu Sharma.
Thank you, Toastmaster Manoj. I could really see the use of story in your speech, and I could see that there are sub stories within your story. So I think multiple stories can also be incorporated if it is relevant in that story. So nicely brought out. Thank you, Toastmaster Manoj. Over to moving to our next segment. Before we move to the next segment, we would like to have the timer's report on prepared speeches. Toastmaster Jayesh, if you have your report ready, can you share?
So for Toastmaster Kishore, the time allotted was 5 to 7 minutes, and he took around 6 minutes 53 seconds. So he's qualified. And for Toastmaster Manoj, the time allotted was 5 to 7 minutes, but he took 7 minutes and 48 seconds, so which is more than the time allotted.
Okay, thank you, Toastmaster Jayesh. And Tech Master, are we ready with the poll for the prepared speeches, or should we do it later?
We have the polls ready, but since our second speaker is not qualified for the voting, so we take the voting for the best speaker.
Thank you, Tech Master, for that clarification. And it's time to move to our next segment. Yes, we have our distinguished Toastmaster Arvind sir here. So Arvind sir is a Toastmaster for over 15 years, and he's a charter member of the Bombay Toastmasters Club. He's a distinguished Toastmaster who has held several leadership positions, including the 98th director. A passionate Toastmaster who continues to mentor and support the clubs and the members. Before you start your educative talk, sir, I would like to ask you one thing. Did story help you in the journey of Toastmasters, and how?
Thank you very much. Yes, for that, I would have to tell my own story. And I'm not here today for that, but probably in the course of what I speak today, probably it would evolve that I have my own story, and that, yes, I'm here to share my experiences of over the 15 years that I've been a Toastmaster, evaluating speeches, judging contests, being a judge, being a chief judge. These are all the things that have helped me to be here. And I continue, like I've already said, that you have mentioned, that I continue to mentor and help clubs and Toastmasters evolve and become better amongst themselves, better self from what they are. So that's why I'm here, and it's a great opportunity for me. And if I could, with your permission, may I go straight into my talk, into the educational session. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much. Our distinguished Toastmaster Arvind. Calm A Sutra, the Evaluator Position. Calm A Sutra, the Evaluator Position by Toastmaster Arvind. Over to you, sir.
Thank you, Vishnu. I must thank Kalpana and the other members here for inviting me to share my experience and to give some insights into how an evaluation can be done. What should an evaluator do, etc. This earlier, when Vrinda spoke, she said that today being Mother's Day, she said a mother is a nurturer, a teacher. But we fail to realize that she's also an evaluator. How often have you remembered, or can you remember, when you came back from school waving that report card and you did not know what's going to happen because you did not get full marks in some subjects, or you had failed in some subjects? Well, some mothers, depending on what the situation is, would have caned you, would have slapped you, would have twisted your ear. But some would have taken you, calmed you, and said, never mind, there's always a next time. We will work together. And that's how the evaluator evolves, by being compassionate and empathetic. And today we'll start with what is evaluation and why do we have it? It's one great element of Toastmasters that we have evaluation. And the oft repeated phrase is that evaluation is the breakfast of champions. Now, for that breakfast, there are a lot of nutrients that need to go in. It's just making a statement that it's a breakfast of champions doesn't actually help. There's a lot that needs to go in. Now, let's begin with how many types of evaluations are there? We have evaluations in a meeting like this online. You also are requested after a speaker speaks to give your feedback on the private chat to the speaker. In a physical meeting, we do have little chits of paper where we write, and in the break, we give it to the speaker. That's one way. The second is you have the evaluation form that Pathways provides you with. And you also have a verbal evaluation that you give a speech. And then there's also the fourth one where very few people make use of it. It's a one-on-one evaluation because there are certain things that are only be applicable to the speaker and may not benefit the entire Toastmasters, all the members. It would only be beneficial to that particular speaker. So that is given on a one-on-one basis. So there are actually 4 types of evaluations. Now, when you go for evaluation or you take up an evaluator's role, there are things before, during, and after that you do. So before, what do you do when you are appointed or you take up an evaluator's role? First and foremost, talk to the speaker. Very few times we get an opportunity to speak to the speaker before he or she actually delivers the speech. We do not know what the speaker wants us to look at in his speech. We must speak to the speaker. If there's nothing that he is really keen on that the evaluator looks at, then it's okay. Then go by whatever the project objectives are and then give the evaluation. However, it's always good to ensure that you read the objectives first. And in the legacy system, you actually had a manual. So if you are asked to be an evaluator, the manual is given to you. And as the meeting begins, just to familiarize yourself, you would quickly go through the manual. How to prepare the speech, what is required, what goes into the speech, what are you supposed to look at, etc. So you are aware when you actually take up the evaluation and listen to the speech, you know what to look for. But in Pathways, or as you take up a path and a project, please ensure that you read the project objectives, one. Secondly, you go through the resource. It's very important that you read the resource. Don't go by the objectives that are there on the evaluation sheet. You have to prepare yourself. Now, remember, you are speaking because you have an objective. You want to improve, you want to get better, and you are attempting that project. So ensure that you read the reference manual, that is the resource, and understand what it is. Answer the questions, go back, and after prepare it accordingly. View the videos so that you understand how to prepare a speech. And then you come and deliver your speech. Or if you are already past the second stage, second level, then it's okay. You may or may not send your speech to your mentor. And then when you actually tell the person, if the evaluator will ask you, what should I look at? If you feel that he needs to particularly look at it, tell you something, then mention it to him. So before you actually go in for evaluation, get hold of the evaluation sheet, ask the person what he wants to be looked at, etc. If there's nothing, then keep calm, but read and understand what the speech is all about, or why has that speech been prepared and under which path is it and under which level, which project. That is very important. And during the speech. Now, during the speech, please pay full attention. You are a person who is supposed to evaluate the speech. And if you do not pay attention to the speech, it will be difficult for you to evaluate correctly. You can't do a whitewash because whitewash or harsh evaluations do not help anyone. So during the evaluation, you have to be particularly attentive and do not look at daggers at the speaker. I'm talking about also I'm talking more from the point of view of an offline meeting. So where you can actually, you see the evaluator can see you and the speaker can see you and you can look at the speaker. So don't look at it like as though I'm going to really examine you, but be calm. You may have a light smile on your face because that helps to calm the speaker. So that's why I have always said you have to be calm, and that's the sutra, the trick that an evaluator has to have. You have to be extremely calm, but very attentive. Now, why you should do all this is because you need to evaluate. And what happens when you do all this is that you are improving your listening skills. You are improving your observation skills because you need to look at the speaker and observe what he is doing. So automatically Toastmasters helps you to improve on your listening and observation skills. And what happens after the evaluation, after the speech and after the evaluation is given? After the speech is over, you make your notes, you prepare your speech. Now, every evaluation is a speech which has a beginning, a middle, and an end, and it is 2 to 3 minutes. So you may take down a lot of things, but only remember that you have 2 to 3 minutes to deliver your evaluation, and only give those only mention those points which you feel will make a difference to the speaker and to the audience at large. And the rest, you can give it to the speaker on a one-on-one basis. Now, let's get into how to evaluate. Over the years, I've been looking at various types of evaluations and how it can be done. I've looked at something which I like, and let's start with somebody who prepared this sort of system to do the evaluation, and I would credit a distinguished Toastmaster, Frank Connelly, who prepared a particular format for this. And I would share that today because I use it most of the times. Now, always remember there's a speech. Why do you give a speech and what is the purpose of the speech? The speech can be for information or education. The speech can be just for entertainment, or the speech can be either for motivation or inspiration. So these are the type of speeches that are normally given. First, you will understand the gestures and the movement. So pay particular attention to the gestures. Now, was the speaker gesturing in the correct format as per the speech or as per the words that he or she was uttering? So you should understand if the body movements were appropriate for that speech. You should also focus on the expressions that were, whether they were appropriate to the words that were used. And was the speaker having eye contact? ensure that the speaker, look at the speaker to see whether the speaker was looking at the audience or not, or at you. And did the speaker actually use the stage? Now, use of stage is something that comes inherent into the speech. You only move when you have a different idea or a next paragraph of your speech, or when you want to set timelines, you move from where you are standing, maybe 2 steps, and then maybe a further 2 steps to identify different timelines, or to give a geography of where you are at a particular time and where you want to go after some time in your speech. So these are the ways that you use the stage. You do not you do not just walk up and down whilst giving your speech. One, that's very distracting, and you have apps, and it serves no purpose when you walk up and down. It only shows you are nervous. You have to control your nervousness, stand in one spot, and then move if your speech takes you to a different time zone or to a different geography. Only then will you move. Otherwise, do not move. Your gestures, like I said, must be appropriate to the words that you use. You can't say that it was a sad thing and smile, because then you're sending two different, it doesn't gel with the speech. So that is what you do when the first thing is the gestures that you should make a note of. Then you make a note of the language. Now, the language. Now, what was the speech about? If it was an inspirational, motivational, or an entertaining speech, was the language appropriate for that speech? Were the words and pauses effective? Were they used effectively? Now, in the language itself, the language can use vivid imagery. That's something that every speech should have if you want to connect with the audience. A vivid imagery is something very important. The speech should be clear and it should be effective. Now, it can be effective only when you use the proper words and the proper expressions to go with it. Then you get connected with the audience. Next, you come to organization. Every speech should have a beginning, a middle, and an end. And the transitions between these three must be very smooth. There should be no hiccups. So there should be, the purpose must be very clear. You should understand what is the purpose, what is the main purpose of this speech. And was it supported by sub-points? The main point, was it supported by sub-points? That is what you need to know. So you understand the structure of the speech and helps you to, was the speech and was the structure easy to follow? The main point along with the 2 or 3 sub-points to prove that. So that is what it should be. Secondly, if you are quoting statistics, then ensure that you give the reference from where you have got the statistics, because without giving the reference, there is no credibility for a speech. So anything that is quoted and is not yours, give due credit. The next will be the voice. Your voice must be very clear. You can't be mumbling. You have to ensure that your breath is okay. So there are some people who speak very loudly first, and the breath and the last words are eaten up. They say it under their breath, which doesn't get across to the audience. So then the message does not get clear, because you are trying to strain yourself and listen to what the last word is. So you have to be careful how you use your voice. there should be vocal variety. You can't be monotonous. So you have to make a note of what's the vocal variety, was there a pitch, was there a change in the volume, were there pauses there, etc. You need to make a note of this. Then you come to the enthusiasm and the E part. The E part is the enthusiasm, the emotion, and the energy of that speech. Now, depending on, like I said, what type of speech it is, if it's an inspirational or a motivational speech, then definitely it has to have the energy, the enthusiasm, and the emotion, all three in it. And you need to look and understand whether that person is displaying this or not. Was he nervous? Did he harness that nervous energy which was not visible? And did he evoke some emotion when he spoke? Did you feel something when he spoke? How did he do that? And what was it? These are the things that need to be made a note of. Always remember that an evaluation of a speech is three things. What I have seen, what I have heard, and how I have felt. So what you see, hear, and feel are the things that you need to make a note of in the appropriate columns. And finally, when the speech is over, you are given whatever time to prepare the speech, to prepare your speech. And now, how do you go about preparing your speech, your evaluation? I would now what happened? Let me repeat what I said earlier. First is gestures. Second is the language. Third is the organization of the speech. Fourth is voice. And fifth is enthusiasm. So to make it stick in your mind, let me call it the glove method. G for gestures and ground stage. L for the language, the speech, beginning, middle, end, and transitions. O for the organization of the speech. V for the voice, and E for the enthusiasm, energy, etc. So that's how you will remember it. Now, to make your evaluation easy, what you need to do is take a sheet of paper, and on the left-hand side, you say, put that as glove on G for gestures. Then the middle column, you say what was good in that, whatever you have heard. And finally, in the last column, you say what could be better. So as you listen to the speech, make your notations in each of these columns. And so you will have an idea of what went well, and you have also written what could be done better. So your whole thing is ready. Now what happens is, now how do you say it? Also remember, you have only 2 to 3 minutes to give your evaluation, and you have taken down a lot of things. Now, from those, you will only pick up that which is really relevant to 2 suggestions or 2 or 3 recommendations, maybe 3 or 4 good things about the speech, and then you will weave it into a speech. Now, how do you say it? You have looked at all the points, and now how do you say it? You can start with commending the person, but may I remind you, please do not use the word, it was an excellent speech. Why? Excellence cannot be bettered. And then in your course of your speech, I would recommend. How can you recommend something which is excellent? So please do not use the word, it was an excellent speech. It was a good speech, or I felt it was good. something to that effect. Now, remember, the whole evaluation is not about the evaluator. It's about the speaker, about the speech. So ensure that you do not take the thunder or the limelight from the speaker. When you give your evaluation, it should be in a tone, and the words used should be such that you are motivating the speaker to come back with whatever you are saying. Let him put it into the next speech and then come forward. But if you, now the words that you should not use is, you should not, or you should have. All these things, intimidate the speaker. The better way to say is, I saw you do this. I felt you could have done this, which would have enhanced your speech. Or you could have, or there's a different ways of saying it, but never be direct and tell that person that this is what you did or this is wrong. Why did you do it? Now, the whole thing is about making the speaker comfortable and ensuring that he comes back the next time. Now, you can start by using the theme or the title of the speech. Many people use that as to start with the speech. You can use that as well. Then, now in the case of an offline meeting, if it's a physical meeting, I would recommend that when you start the speech, you address all the good points, look at the speaker and address the speaker with the good points. Anything that is good that he has done, look at the speaker and address. When you have to do the recommendations, the recommendations are for the general people who are there, including the speaker, but then you will look at the audience when you are giving the recommendations, because in Toastmasters, it's peer learning, and the recommendations are those that reach out to each and every member. How they take it is left to them, but they can use it in their speech and decide whether it works for them or not. So that's what you would do in an offline meeting. Of course, in an online meeting, all you do is to stare at that little eye that is there at the top of your laptop when you begin speaking. So it's very impersonal, but slowly I would like to say that, yes, when we get onto a physical meeting, that's what I'm trying to give you tips for, because I hope we really get into a physical meeting, because that's where a lot of learnings come in. And when you give your recommendations, like I said, look at the audience and see it. Now, this is also the same thing which should go for a contest. If it's a physical contest, the recommendations will be for the general audience, and the good points will be only for the speaker. Now, another important thing when you are doing an evaluation is do not paraphrase the speech. This is what you said, and then you said this, and then you said that. No, we've all heard this speech. We want you to give an evaluation of the speech and not a paraphrase of that speech. So be careful. Do not repeat or give a short form of that speech, but start with all the good points that the person, 3 to 4 good points, whatever the person has said, and then 2 recommendations would be sufficient. And remember, when you are giving a recommendation, if it's a voice recommendation, if it's something to do with voice modulation, then repeat what the person said. The person, you must say that this, I would recommend that the tone be changed when using this particular word. For example, you said this, but in your speech, I would have loved to hear you say it this way and demonstrate. Don't just say you should have done it, but tell me how I should do it so that I can improve. Always give, and in a contest also, there are marks that are given when you give the suggestion, when you give the way it has to be done, or rather just saying it has to be done, it does not give you marks. But how can it be done, in your opinion, how it should be done is what you need to tell them. Do not be harsh. Do not take out a knife or a sword and be ready with it in your hand when you are giving an evaluation. Please refrain from that and do not have that bloodshot eyes that I'm going to really give it into you, poke it into you, because that's not what Toastmasters evaluation is all about. You need to encourage the person, the speaker. You need to use appropriate words to be empathetic and encouraging to the speaker. So please ensure that you do not. And another thing is, like I said, an evaluation is my personal opinion of what I have seen, heard, and felt at this point when you gave the speech. You may be good, you might have given the speech, it was better at that time. Do not compare, but only tell me now what you saw, felt, and heard when I delivered the speech. So that is what you would do. And that is another point where in a contest, you are not supposed to judge what the person did at another earlier contest or how he said it, but what he did at that point is how you would judge the person and view and give the marks accordingly. Another thing is, it's my personal opinion, right? An evaluation, you cannot, please do not say the audience felt. You are or you can say as an audience, I felt is okay. But do not say the audience felt. You do not know what the feelings of the audience are. So do not speak for the audience. Just speak for yourself. So we have to be very careful on the words that you use and how you say it. Now, why do we actually do all this? What happens when we become an evaluator? Skills are developed when we become an evaluator. We develop our listening skills. We develop the words that we need. Our speech, our delivery improves because we use choice words because we want to motivate or encourage the speaker. So we enhance our writing skills because we need to write or the speech in a way that will encourage or enhance the speaker. And our observation and thinking skills are also improved. See, Toastmasters has got a lot that you can take if you understand and if you know what all it gives. It's not only for public speaking or leadership skills. There are a lot of things that are there. It makes you, it improves your personality to such an extent that that people in corporate also, they begin to see a difference in the way that you speak. If you are a Toastmaster attending a Toastmaster meeting, and then when you get back to your desk after about 3 or 4 sessions and they suddenly notice that you have reduced the number of R's and Ums that you have spoken. And I've been witness to this, and over the years where I've gone to help charter corporate clubs, and also having gone there as mentoring after that, I've seen the difference and people have come back and said, yes, they have begun. And they've brought their friend to the meeting again. So that's another way of advertising yourself. When you become better, you become a spokesperson for yourself as well as for Toastmasters. So those are the things that you need to look at and be prepared to help a person, help the speaker. So whenever you come to evaluate a speech, ensure that you are calm. That's one great trick that you should have. Ensure that you have already read what the objectives of the speech are, so that you look at those things and also what the speaker wants you to look at, and then deliver your evaluation in a 2 to 3 minutes slot that is allotted to you. But if you have more, get on to a 1-to-1 and then give that speed, give the balance things which are only applicable to the speaker in a private chat. So those are things that you need to do. It is said, your destiny is not made by the shoes you wear, but by the steps you take. So take the right steps and help your peers to become better. Thank you, and over to the Toastmaster of the day. And if we do have a couple of minutes and there are questions, and with your permission, Toastmaster of the day, I would like to answer them.
Yeah, I think, sir, we have 5 minutes time with us. And if there are any questions, please do come forward and ask. It's a good opportunity.
I have one question.
Yes, Toastmaster Ashwin, go ahead.
So one thing I struggle with personally is many times I try to pick things which are not there in the speech. Is that I mean, so somebody, let's say, if there is no vocal variety, let's say it's one of the expectations in the speech or the objective, and if there is no vocal variety, now the question is whether we judge the speech or we judge what is not there in the speech. So I always get confused. Can you please educate me here?
Now, what is the objectives of that speech? What were the objectives of that speech? If it's a total vocal variety, I think it's on a level 3 where you use a vocal variety. If it's total vocal variety, then you have to tell that person the speech. And secondly, okay, a very important thing is in Toastmasters, there's no pass or fail. And we are all peers. We are not masters. We are not somebody who passes or fails. And we cannot tell a speaker to repeat the speech. Your evaluation should make the person realize that I need to repeat the speech because I have not met the objectives. Your evaluation should be in such a way. Please do not tell a person to repeat. It's left to me. I feel I have done a good job. You can do whatever evaluation you want. And evaluation, please remember, you may give your evaluation, but it's left to me whether I need to take it or I need not take it, or I can use some part of it. That's totally left. So please, this is peer learning. And this is something here that we learn in Toastmasters is to control our ego. Don't bring your ego here at all, because if you bring in your ego, you are not going to learn. And then you will feel that Toastmasters and this meeting and that person and then, all sorts of rubbish goes on. So please do not do that. Come with an open mind to learn and say, and don't feel bad. And in a corporate setting, I always tell them, when you come into a Toastmasters meeting, please ensure that you leave your name tags, your designations, and your egos at your workplace, your table, and then come into the meeting. And once the door is closed in a meeting, then we are all peers. There is no boss and no reportee. We are all equal, and that's why in Toastmasters, we address everybody by our first name. There's no sir or madam because you have put in a number of years. I know in the Indian context, it's very difficult for us to call an elder person or a senior person by the person. But you need to develop that, because first and foremost, understand it's peer learning. That's the reason we need to be careful about what you say. Hi, Rashmin, about what you said. There are ways that you can say that. You can say that, I heard you say this, but in the context of the speech, I wish you could have said this. So if you point 2, 3, because it's a vocal variety and the message is not coming proper, then you can give your recommendations in that. But find something which is nice in that speech, because every speech will have something nice. Something nice will be there. So pick something nice. Now I've taken the trouble of writing the speech, practicing it. And if you come there and you tear it to pieces, well, that's not right, isn't it? I've spent time and effort to do it. So give it something, but make that person realize. But you may tell that person on a one-to-one that, you did not do it. But how much of that, what you're going to say, that you want to really see, in Toastmasters, we do not criticize the speech, we critique the speech, where we give recommendations. So it's a critique of the speech and not a criticism of that speech. You have to be very careful about that. Did I answer that question of yours, Rashmi?
Yeah, very much.
Thanks.
Thank you so much.
Yes, Pramila, there's a question that you need to ask.
Yeah, thanks, Arvind. That was a really very insightful understanding on feedback, giving feedback. So many of the things I was able to correlate even in our offices since appraisal session, that season is going on. Now, even this Toastmaster Club, or irrespective of wherever we are providing feedback, we will definitely try to give start with positive feedbacks and whatever achievements we have seen, that we do it. Now, somewhere in between, you have said that how to use that language of giving positive feedback, because even though those are really more of an improvement area, but then what if the person who is taking that feedback has taken it personally, and how you have tried to realize him that how to improvise this one? Because at the time of giving feedback, you need to give the feedback whatever is really his improvement area. But then if person has not taken it positively and you want to again make him understand, so what steps you have taken in your past experience?
Now there has been something. See, let me use one particular thing. You said you're not a Toastmaster as yet, are you? No. So you're talking from a corporate point of view. Now in corporate, it's the carrot or the stick approach that they have. And remember, in Toastmasters is the only place where you can make mistakes and never be laughed at. One. Secondly, in Toastmasters, unlike, and you used a wonderful word, you said that it's the yearly, whatever, appraisal system that's going on. You use the word yearly. Now, do I have to wait for 1 year for my boss to come and tell me this is what you have not done properly? And you all through the year, you've seen me do it, but never approached me and told me that, why don't you do it this way? It may help. No, you didn't. But in Toastmasters, the moment you finished giving a speech, you are told that you can do this. This is the only place where the evaluation is given in real time at that same time and not waited for 1 year. So this is a great thing in Toastmasters. Now coming to your point, in a corporate, if you wish to, you may probably want somebody to mentor the person. Or if you wish to take it up, so, but as a boss, you probably may not want to be seen hand-holding him so much, and you would rather give it to somebody else and say, also, that's another way for you to understand whether that person whom you are entrusting the task, whether you are developing one more person as a leader. So see whether he does it, and you keep an observation on that person rather than on the actual person who needs to be improved. So I would suggest that is one way of doing it. And may I tell you that I've retired nearly 10 or 11 years ago, and I really do not know what the current scene is and what the mentality of the youth are these days. So perhaps my answers would be a little out of time, maybe. But nevertheless, these are some things that could be used. Yes, go ahead.
Thanks.
Thank you so much for this wonderful session, sir. So I just want to ask, like I had two situations. The point you have quoted, we should not judge to the person or the speaker on the basis of previous meeting, and if the speaker is not that the beginner, and we know like there are always the improvement of scope, and we have seen the speaker is not delivered as per the expectation, and but improved a lot previous to the previous meeting if we are comparing to. So we should give the appreciation on the behalf of the previous meeting, should we or not, like on the basis of.
I said whatever I have seen, heard, and felt now.
Okay.
See, like I said, take him aside after the meeting and tell him you did this very well at the last meeting. What happened to you at this meeting? Why was your sound a little low? The speech was so good. It had so much character in it, but your voice did not carry that. And so I felt that the speech fell a little short. I think you need to improve. Probably there was a little lack of practice. Motivate the person. Tell him that way. There's no harm. I told you there's always a fourth way. Many people do not use that fourth way. You know, one thing, the way you use the fourth way is the way you build your network and your interpersonal skills. That's another thing that Toastmasters teaches you. You know when to call him, when not to call him, how to speak to him. You learn the character of the person and you know how to say it and when to catch him at the correct time. So all these things enhances your own personality. And many people begin to view you. How do you catch that person at the right time? This is developed. It's not inherent in me, but I have developed it. I've learned. There are so many things that you learn without people telling you in Toastmasters. And that's why this is a great place to be.
So I understand, sir. Thank you so much. Second situation is like if you are the speaker and I'm the evaluator, and I'm not able to see any single improvement because I have seen that everything is remarkable, and I have not, my capabilities is limited to observe you. So what happens in this case? Because I'm the beginner. I take an example. If I'm evaluating a person who is distinguished Toastmaster, or maybe the old Toastmaster, and I'm the beginner. So how I can come up with my evaluation? So that could add on to their meeting or to their perspective.
See, it so happens that we are enamored by that personality. And what we do is we lose ourselves in the way he speaks. And we forget that we have a task to do. All we're looking at is, oh, wow, look at that person moving on the stage. Look at his gestures, his facial expressions, his voice modulation, stuff like that. And we forget why we are there. Every speech will have, and it's my opinion. So you have an opinion, you have to form an opinion. And I'm not going to feel bad if you come and tell me, in my opinion, I felt that your speech fell a little short, because at this point, you can catch something. That's where your observations will come in. At this point, you dropped your voice, but I felt that, the effect was lost. But just one recommendation.
Okay, sir. Thank you so much. Okay, thank you.
I think I've gone over time. If there is something, then probably you could put it on a chat to me or an email, and I would love to answer those questions. Thank you, and over to the Toastmaster.
Thank you, Toastmaster Arvind, for this very educative session. Your session has really engendered confidence and will serve as a guidance for all those who will be in a evaluator position. So now moving on to the next session of this meeting, that is towards the impromptu speeches. I will here welcome our Toastmaster, table topic Toastmaster Pooja. Toastmaster Pooja, can you tell us the moment you became emotional with a story and what made you emotional?
Okay, so I will take example of my father itself. Like he appeared for chartered accountancy exams, and he could not pass because of some of the reasons like financials, and at the time I was born and he had so many responsibilities. So I was so emotional, and I was so inspired because of him, and I also pursued C, and right now I'm a chartered accountant. So I was so emotionally connected to his story. So this was the case.
Great, thank you, Toastmaster Pooja. What do you, Toastmaster Pooja, for the table topics?
Okay,
I would like, sorry to disturb, but before going ahead, let's give the certificate of appreciation to distinguish Arvind Nair.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
For the wonderful session, and over to you, Toastmaster.
Yes. So what do you, Toastmaster Pooja, for the table topics?
Yeah, so let's start about it. A heartiest good evening to everyone, Toastmaster of the day, fellow Toastmasters, and guests. I am Pooja Patidar, and I am the table topic master for the day. This is an impromptu speech session of a Toastmaster meeting. It's an interesting session which will give a chance to Toastmasters and guests to sharpen their listening, thinking, organizing, and speech delivery skills. For table topics, the time allotted is 1 to 2 minutes, green screen to be shown at 1 minute, yellow at 1.5 minutes, and red at 2 minutes. A grace period of 30 seconds is given to qualify for the vote, and speaker has to speak for a minimum of 1 minute to qualify for the voting. All speakers are requested to use the word of the day. I encourage members and guests to volunteer for this session. So now let us begin the session. So who will come forward for the TTM?
I can take it.
Okay, sorry, I can't see.
That is Manoj, the evaluator.
Okay, Manoj. Yeah. So, so since the theme is story, I will give 3 words, and you will have to create a story of your own. Okay. So it's mom, daily soaps, and IPL. Mom, daily soaps, and IPL. Over to you, Manoj.
Good evening, Toastmasters and guests. So as I venture to speak about mom, or today's Mother Day, and my mother must be watching me from the top. She was quite interested to watch daily soaps, while I wanted to watch cricket matches. So the tussle between a mom and a son, that can always be resolved. How? What I did, I started recording the IPL matches to see it, so that my mom gets that time slot to watch those daily soaps. So this kind of integration of both our aims and objective getting fulfilled, what makes the relationship between a mother and son beautiful. Now, in our life, we always think that, yes, I need to possess something. My wants are more important than others. I'll tell you a small story since we're talking about stories today. A small little boy came to her mother. Her hand was inside a flower vase, unable to take it out. Mother said, the way you put it in, take it out, same way. But he was helpless, it was not coming out. Then the father was called. He also put some soap, then oil, vegetable oil to take it out. No. Once the father was exasperated, he said, I can give $1 to somebody who can help my son to take it out. Suddenly they saw the magic. The hand came out, slid out of the narrow opening. How? He was holding on to a penny. And once the father promised $1, he took it out. So that magic happened. So that magic can always happen when we integrate whatever we want with something better. So life always gives us choices. Let's accept a better choice. With that, over to you, TTM. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Manoj, TM Manoj. It was very relatable. Okay, so who is coming next? So I would request everyone to please come forward because it is a very interesting session. Like we will get a chance why we have joined the Toastmasters. We should come forward and speak. Okay, Rashmi. Okay, thank you for coming. Okay, the second topic I am giving to you is alarm, morning, snooze. Alarm, morning, snooze.
Snooze.
Yes. Over to you, Rashmi.
So thanks for the topic. So our day definitely starts with an alarm. At least mine starts with an alarm. While I was a kid, my dad and mom served as an alarm for me. Uh, my school timing was around 8 o'clock, and that's when my dad used to serve as an alarm and wake us, and has taught us those basic discipline of how to use your brain as an alarm. Now as I've grown up, got little lazy, so the way now I wake up every day is used my health band. That makes me always wonder, how our parents has uh, I think I'm a little lost. Sorry.
No, Rashmi, it was very good. It was very relatable to every one of us, like you said about your parents. All our parents were like that only, but right now we every day we need that snooze to wake up. So it was very nice. Now who is going to come forward? Okay, Mohit. Mohit. So the topic is friends, Goa, cancel. Friends, Goa, cancel. Over to you, Mohit.
Thank you so much, Pooja. Okay. Once upon a time, when we were friends together, college, when we were living in the college hostel, and we made a plan to go Goa. When we were sleeping together at around 2 a.m. it was, and accidentally we made a plan, and we booked the tickets, approximately 15,000 of cost we have paid. And then later on something happened and we tried to change our plan. And trying to change our plan, and accidentally it happens. We are not planning all those things. We are just taking ad hoc actions. Whatever happened, whatever comes to our mind, we take the actions. And we accidentally it happens, and we never went to the Goa. We went to the different places to eat something else, because we plan to Goa to enjoy ourselves, but sometime it the information gets leaked to somebody else, and they shared to the parents, and parents were keeping eyes on us. So that's why it happens to us. So then we have to cancel the plan. That's it. It was challenging. Sorry. Or
Thank you, TM Mohit. It must be very disheartening. I can relate to it. Okay. So Namrata has raised hand, then Shweta, and then okay. So Namrata, the topic is love, butterflies, dance. Love
What it was?
Dance.
Dance.
Love, butterflies, dance. Over to you.
Okay. So I always like to dance as if no one is watching. I see more butterflies, but I choose to see more dragonflies. I like dragonflies more and wish they were around, but I always see butterflies in my garden. I do accept whatever comes in my life, whether it's butterfly or dragonfly. So I'm learning to engender my new choices and accepting life, what it comes, and going with the flow. Because initially when I used to make goals and dreams, whatever plan A or B, it used to deroute. So now I have learned to enjoy the deroute, love and dance with whatever life throws at me, maybe like going with the flow and accepting life as it comes. And I'm just enjoying that, but I still choose the dragonfly. I wish I see, because for me, it's a messenger from angel. Whenever I see dragonfly, I feel there is some message coming, and definitely that day something wonderful happens. So I wish to see dragonfly, but I have learned to fly with the butterfly. And that's how I'm focusing there. And thank you. I don't know whether I went 2 minutes apart. I could not see the time.
No, you are within the time.
Okay.
So thank you, Namrata. I wish I could also see dragonflies to happen something good in my life. Okay, so now Shweta. The topic is roll, camera, action. Roll, camera, action. TM Shweta.
Okay. Thank you, Pooja, for the topic. Okay. Whenever, good afternoon, good evening, everyone. Whenever we hear this roll, camera, and action, what occurs to our mind is the pictures, movies, because we used to hear roll, camera, and action there. But what I think is that normally if we have to plan something in our life, we need to do same thing in our life as well, like roll, camera, and action. For me, it's like rolling over something. I mean, to think over something, then to plan on it, and then something to execute the plan so that it comes in action and something fruitful is achieved. So that is my ideology of roll, camera, and action. However, most of us related to the movies and pictures only. So we need to plan things accordingly. And let's say if we want to do something in our life, we have to, like, for example, we all are working and we know, like, if we have some task in our hand, we need to take it step by step. First thing is to do the analysis of some idea should come to your mind. Then that idea should, we need to materialize that idea, and then we need to think over it, and then finally to execute it. We should have a plan in our hand finally to achieve our goal. Thank you.
Thank you, Shweta. It was very interesting to connect the role camera action to our daily lives. I think TM Vrindavani, you have raised your hand. Okay. So anyone who would like to come? I think you will find all the topics very relatable and you'll be able to make stories very easily. And
we have one guest, Jayesh, here, if he can participate.
Okay. I think Jayesh is the timer only. Okay, Jayesh, would you like to come upon?
Jayesh is a timer.
Okay, yeah.
Jayesh or anybody who is.
Okay, I can go. Since you called me earlier, I'll go. I thought he's a guest, so we give a chance to him.
Okay. So it is like office manager T. Office manager T. Over to you.
Office manager and
T.
P or T?
T. Tea break like tea.
Okay. Till last 20 years, I was a housewife and I have never been to office. My office experience was of only one day. When my daughter was 1.5 years, I joined one office. That was the first day I went there. Manager welcomed me into the office. We had a tea. Since it was my first day, he thought that it's good to welcome subordinate with the tea and have a long discussion. After a long day in the office, and he explained me what are the things I have to do into the office. What is my task? He introduced me to the teammates whom I was going to work with. And at the end of the day, when my office is over, I went home, and what I saw, when my 1.5-year daughter didn't eat a single bite. Entire day she was sitting at one place where I left in the morning, and she didn't eat or she didn't drink. And once I saw that, my heart was like, oh, my mother in me. It was just so painful to see my daughter like that. And I was crying at the night. My mother-in-law came next to me and she said, you want to work, I can understand. You want to achieve something, but is it worth keeping your daughter crying over there to go to office and earn or whatever your desire you want to achieve? Is it worth? Think about it. And that whole night I thought, is earning money that important than my daughter crying over there? And if I'm not able to raise her well, again, I'm going to cry because I was not able to give her a time. And that day was my last day of office. Next day morning, I called my boss and I resigned it. So my manager was very happy. Was not very happy to leave me job, but yes, that was the last day of my office. Thank you, and over to you, table topic master.
Thank you, TM Vrindavani. I'm happy I gave you this topic. We got to know about you this, and like your daughter must be very lucky. Only mothers can do such an sacrifice in today's Mother's Day. So I will wish you happy Mother's Day. So now we can take around 2 to 3 topics due to time. So I can see TM Manoj raising his hand. So I'm giving him topic. It is weekend popcorn shopping. Weekend popcorn shopping. Over to you.
I work in a private company. So my wife is alone at home. Naturally, when I come back from the office, it is almost about 7:30, 8 o'clock. So shops will be normally, it is closed. So Saturdays and Sundays are privileged days for the family, and we go to films. So last film what we have seen is Kerala Files. So even though the film is entirely different, so we enjoy the atmosphere, having a popcorn, and after the film, so we go for a dinner and have some small shoppings in that particular area. So over the time period, so we have almost exhausted the entire Mumbai area. Every weekend we used to go. So naturally we ventured to Baroda as well as Ahmedabad in the weekends. So now it is our passion to travel in Vande Bharat and travel to Baroda, either get down at Baroda or Ahmedabad, get into some place, come in the evening, or the next day we come back to Mumbai. So that is how we spend our weekends. That's all from my side.
Thank you, Manoj. As I'm also in job, I can understand how fast the weekend just get over. Like in 2 minutes, we give our table topic speech, and in 2 minutes is just get over this weekend also. So it is very relatable. Okay, so who is going to come forward now? We can take around 1 or 2 more table topics. So I would like to invite.
We have evaluation session 2, Pooja, just to remind you.
Okay.
So we can stop
Okay,
here.
now
And
we
can
can end. Okay. So I would like to call timer to tell the timings and who is eligible for voting.
First of all, apologies. The Toastmaster Jayesh was facing some internet issue, so I took over the role and noted the times. The timing report for the table topics is the Toastmaster Manoj, first speaker, took 2 minutes 5 seconds. Our second speaker, Toastmaster Rashmin, took 1 minute 28 seconds. Third speaker, Toastmaster Mohit, took 1 minute 33 seconds. Next, Toastmaster Namrata, the guest Namrata took 1 minute 19 seconds. Toastmaster Shweta took 1 minute 34 seconds. And Toastmaster Rinda took 2 minutes 24 seconds. And our last speaker, the Toastmaster Manoj, took 1 minute 39 seconds. Thank you. Over to you, table topic master.
Okay, so now I hand over to Toastmaster of the day.
Thank you, Table Topic Master, Toastmaster Pooja. And can we have the polls, Tech Master? Are we ready with the polls for the table topic speeches?
You're not audible.
Am I audible?
Yes.
Yeah. Please allow me 2 minutes. I'm preparing the class.
We can go ahead with the next session.
Okay, so it's time to move to our next segment, and let's move to our next segment, which is the evaluation section. And to guide us through this evaluation section, we have the general evaluator of the day. We have Toastmaster Mohit. Toastmaster Mohit, the general evaluator. So before he takes over the session, my question to you, Toastmaster Mohit, what is your thought on using personal anecdotes and narratives while giving speeches?
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Vishnu. And personal anecdote or personal story is a most motivational or most heart touching we can do by starting to create impact in our audience. Because people, I feel people want to listen the personal stories instead of artificial or the things which as kind of preaching and all. So they prefer personal stories, personal experience, so they can also learn the same coding. Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Mohit. Over to you, Toastmaster Mohit, for general evaluation.
yeah, thank you so much, Toastmaster Vishnu. Okay, good evening, everyone, fellow Toastmaster and distinguished guests. You might see people are continuously engaged with the public speaking and learn our Toast communication. But the problem is they're not progressing that much. The reason is they don't have the specifically feedback mechanism. That's why Toastmaster have critically focused on these particular things. We have the separate section for giving the constructive feedback. And in this feedback, I will be the moderating the particular section. Not only me, my tag team and my speech evaluator will evaluate all the role player, auxiliary role player, or the guest. So first, I will call upon our speech evaluator to detail explanation of critical observation of our speakers. So I would like to call our evaluator first, Toastmaster Rashmi. Over to you.
Good evening, everyone. With great power comes great responsibility. The best way to summarize the speech by my fellow Toastmaster, it gives that is the power of a credit card in our hand. The good things I like, the three things I like about the speech. First, the speech was kicked off with an interactive questions to the audience, and Toastmaster Kishore was able to take feedback and react to the customers' feedback as well. Second thing which I like about the speech went slow, building credibility, showing certain informations, certain numbers, and a reference from popular books on the topic. So the speech was having a lot of good credibility. Third thing I liked about the speech was was delivered with a lot of calm, compose, and confidence. Given the topic, this was the must aspect of the overall speech. Few things which I think could have gone better. First, I felt the eye contact was not, the camera was not facing the Toastmaster, and that made little bit of it took some time, at least for me, to get aligned with the delivery of the speech. Second, since the speech was informative, I would have liked if Toastmasters would have provided certain illustration on how the numbers showing the numbers how a credit card numbers can take you in a path where the consumer ends up paying a lot of interest. So showing the illustration would have helped the audience to understand what exactly the trap of credit card is. All in all, I think the speech was very wonderful, quite research, was done, was delivered very confidently. Adding more detailed in certain aspect of a card would have made it much better. I would love to hear much more speeches from you. Thank you so much.
General Evaluator Mohit.
I'll try to use the Sutra of Calmness and the globe method to give my feedback for my speaker, Manoj. Now, the topic was very, very catchy. It requests ingenuity. Think of a topic that will attract the audience attention. Tom and Jerry and the rest. Since yesterday, I was intrigued and I was looking forward to listening to him. What is Tom and Jerry got to do in this topic? Now, the way he started with a bang, it shows the richness of voice that he has. Tom and Jerry and the rest. And I'm going to ask you, are you looking forward to that, Tom and Jerry? Then it starts taking a bold face, taking a just opposite direction. It's not those Tom and Jerry of MGM, but two dogs. And the best part of this content was it was richly carved with 3 stories integrated, starting with 2 dogs from Mumbai to Pune, then talking about his own journey in a jungle when the vehicle had a breakdown, and those animals chasing him to become a marathon runner today. And last was that of the situation of a hotel management graduate looking for a opportunity when the COVID knocked on the door. So, but all these 3 stories were integrated well with positivity. And the talk ended with a takeaway for the audience when he says, tough things or challenges do come in our life, but yes, they always disguise some kind of opportunity for all of us. So it was a richly carved content of yours. Your sentence structures were quite rich and the vocabulary was of a higher order. Unforeseen bottlenecks, latent potential. These are the words or expressions not being used often. Now coming on to your delivery part. As I said, you started with a booming voice that gave a kind of sound base to your optic level. Then you use the word of the day, your gestures, you did use your body language, your hands were moving to speak about whatever you wanted to impact to audience. And there was a bit of vocal variety, but which could be improved further because the 2 aspects that required in this talk is your gestures, your body language, and the vocal variety. Now, I found the gestures bit monotonous, except for towards the end, when you said the graduate was looking for an opportunity and COVID-19 knocked on the door. So there it was a different, or else you are standing at the camera and your hand gestures were there. The space was not utilized. So you need to work on, I feel you need to work on this body language further. And the vocal variety. When you talked about those animals howling at you, and we need to chase, and integrating all 3 stories, like Tom, the cat chasing Jerry. So here the animals were the Tom, and we like Jerry, and I became the Jerry to become a champion runner. So had you been integrating all the 3 stories, it could have taken the speech to a different level. Or else altogether it was a good content, rich vocabulary, and you have got the potency to use your voice that you have shown. So do it and you are going to excel further. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Manoj. Now I would like to invite Timer for explaining the timer report. So Toastmaster Monica will take care, I guess. Toastmaster Chess was not there in the meeting. Okay, over to you, Toastmaster Monica.
Thank you, General Evaluator. I will be giving the time report for the evaluations. The first evaluator, Toastmaster Rashmin, took 3 minutes 16 seconds, and the second speaker took Toastmaster Manoj took 3 minutes 50 seconds. So Toastmaster Manoj is not qualified for the voting.
Okay.
Over
Thank you, Thank you, Toastmaster Monica. Now I would like to invite our counter, Toastmaster Sushil, for he has counted all the verbal poses which we have created unintentionally, unconsciously. So over to you, Toastmaster Sushil.
Good evening, General Evaluator Mohit. I'll share the report via share screen. Please let me know if it is visible.
Yes, it is visible to us.
Okay, so here is the report.
Thank you, Toastmaster Sushil. Yeah, now you can, stop sharing. Okay. Thank you. Now I would like to invite Grammarian, who has like all those good uses or not so good uses, and given us a word of the day, a task to use in our improper speaking. So I would like to invite Toastmaster Shubham for the Grammarian report. Over to you, Toastmaster Shubham.
Thank you, General Evaluator Mohit. Coming to the point, first the bad usage of grammar. So there were certain small grammatical mistakes like of helping verbs, some mispronunciation, and certain bad usage of main verb. For example, it should be give rather than gives. The other is we go to films. It should be we go to watch films. Then again, happens should be happened. Then use of us instead of me when we start a statement with the subject we. And now coming to some good usage of quotes, sayings, and thoughts. So the first is many a little makes a mickle. The other is with great power comes great responsibility. Next is fiercely, then bottlenecks. And one good thought was destiny is not created by the shoes we wear, but by the steps we take. And the other good usage of quote was a carrot or a stick. And then last is tussle between my mom and me. That's it from my end. Over to you, General Evaluator.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Shubham. Now I will be giving my report as a whole. Started with the Jew master. I have seen she has taken the initiative to audio video check for the guest or the member who wants to. And we started on the time, and the spotlight transition was also smooth. So kudos for that. Yeah, like little bit we have been facing issue with the in between when Grammarian Toastmaster Shubham were explaining the detail of their Grammarian report. That time their audio was not clear. So we can we can be mindful for the next time. To talk about Sergeant at Arm Toastmaster Kishore. Toastmaster Kishore
the starting was really very energetic. Mission and promise has covered, and we started on the time, and yeah, like that is required for the meeting at the starting, because if we are adding some fuels or enthusiasm in the meeting, then entire meeting will go in the further very energy in the energy. Now coming to presiding officer, the guest has welcome, so that is nice. And she started with a very positive note, with the mother wishes, like Mother's Day wishes, and how she related to we Toastmaster and the mothers. We both nurture our peers and giving a genuine feedback, sometimes, but to critic to others. So that is totally relatable. Now coming to Toastmaster the day. Toastmaster day, Toastmaster Vishnu, like the entire maybe the kingpin of that particular meeting. Very very enthusiastic theme, the story, and I've, and he has taken a very key role and asking the question related to the story while giving the transition to the any role player, and it was really new to me, and I will certainly try to apply. I will certainly try to apply in my club meeting as well, and that was the concept. It's new to me, and to talk about, like, in the starting, the camera was not that much set, so we were not able to see your eyesight. But rest of the time, when uh, you manage your camera, and then and very much active, and we will be able to see your screen, your face, and body movement gesture and all. So kudos for that. And talking about speech evaluators, Toastmaster Rashmi and Toastmaster Manoj. So both the evaluators have used the, what is it, the evaluations method which we Toastmaster Arvind Nair has given to us: glow, gesture, uh, language, and organizations of the structure of the meeting, and voice, and E for enthusiasm. Like, so all these particular methods has been critically visible to me, and I must say, like, Toastmaster Mano specifically, he surpassed his timing, but I he's a best listener. I because why how I'm giving this compliment, because he consumed all those story and try to align all those and give a different result, which Toastmaster Manoj want to say, and Toastmaster Manoj Kumar want to say in the speech delivery, and Toastmaster Manoj Lenka has kudos for that. The perfect alignment comes consume the so
We are unable to hear you.
I think there is a network issue.
okay. So actually, there is a Wi-Fi problem here. Maybe the broadband has some issue. So I joined with my personal network. So that would be the issue. So where I lost, like, have I discussed table topic master?
No, you
Okay,
were
so
just
total.
completing the second speaker's
Okay. So talk about the table topic master, Toastmaster Pooja. Toastmaster Pooja has taken the topics which are quite relatable to the, and that is the recommend, and she engaged the guest as well, and yeah, topic were like quite challenging as well, but this is the assignment that is required, and she covered 7 speakers, and that is quite appreciable. In the small section, she covered 7 different people, 7 given chance to 7 people to speak, so that is kudos for that. And one more thing, I have seen during the timer, the table topic session were going on, the timer card was not visible most of the time. So if you could work on these things, maybe the timer were not there, maybe the network issue were there that time, that could be the issue. So we need to think, we need to be mindful for the next time. This is not for the table topic master recommendation, it is the overall recommendation during the section. If anything happening unprecedentedly, then we need to be mindful and have some alternative on that. Okay, now talk about timer R counter timer. There is a network issue, so I can't say anything because something which is not in our hand. And yeah, so to talk about timer, if she could show the timer cards during the starting explanation of their role, then it would be more impactful for the audience, because while he was explaining, people were just listening, and if they show it works, then it would be more impactful. Now to talk about counter, yeah, one thing counter those things that is required, but the level enthusiasm, or maybe he has taken this role very first time of enthusiasm that expected, because I have seen the all report verbally, instead of just only sharing, but appreciable because the R's and arms and all the elements he covered in the report, and it is very challenging and quite remarkable. Now talk about grammarian. The word of the day has been shared by the grammarian in the chat box as well, and he shared the good uses and not so good uses, and not critically point out any specific person. So that is the, like, if we are pointing any single body, any particular person for limelighting their mistakes, then it would instead of not encouraging it, it is kind of a discouragement for that. But he has taken these things in his mind. Kudos for that. If he could share the screen while sharing the word of the day, then it would be easy for us to use that word of the day. And phrase of the day is not included in his report, so next time if he can do. Overall, the meeting structure and adding the education sections, everything was really like not, it's new to me, because as I have attended 9 to 10 meeting earlier, and this is the meeting where I get the 4 sections with the education, lots of learning and experimentation, practical things. So
I think we lost him again.
certainly will able to want to join for the meeting, and thank you so much. Yeah, this is all about my report. Thank you.
Actually,
Over to you.
Toastmaster Mohit is talking, but somehow we couldn't hear him.
Yeah. I think there is some network issue. Probably
Network
we
issue.
lost some audio connection in between. Thank you so much, General Evaluator Toastmaster Mohit. Techmaster, do we have the polls ready?
Yes, we have the polls ready.
Yeah.
Please note there will not be a polls for the best speaker and best evaluation.
Yes. Can we have the second poll role players also?
For the best auxiliary role player.
Just let me know when the poll is completed.
Please vote for the best role player. Big 3 award.
Are all the polls completed, Techmaster?
Yeah.
Yes.
Can everyone
Okay.
see the polls, right?
So as we move towards the conclusion of the meeting, and I'm sure that the story, the theme of today's meeting will be in our memory for long. Story is that powerful tool. If used, we become a powerful speaker, which can make a lasting impact. As quoted by Robin Moore, an author, inside each one of us is a natural born storyteller waiting to be released. So Toastmaster, please use story as a tool to have a lasting impact in your speeches. I hand over now the meeting to our presiding officer, Toastmaster Vrinda. Over to you, Toastmaster Vrinda.
Thank you. Thank you, Toastmaster Vishnu. Thank you very much for this wonderful session. You carried your storytelling throughout this entire session. Thank you very much for that. We are already out 5:30. It's 5:51. So we'll quickly roll up. We'll start with the winners of today's meeting. Winners of the today's meeting. Let me get. So best speaker, and we didn't have a poll for best speaker and best evaluator, but we had poll for best auxiliary role player, that is best tag team. Any guesses? Who is the best role player today in the tag team?
Grammarian.
Grammarian. Yeah.
Toastmaster Shubham. Hearty congratulations, Toastmaster Shubham. Next, we move. Best speaker, best table topic speaker. Any guesses? We have a wonderful storyteller here in the.
It's already revealed. It's already revealed.
It's a tie between me and Toastmaster Manoj Lenka. I really admire his speaking and the best. It was the best short story I've ever heard. So hearty congratulations, Toastmaster Manoj Lenka. And we have there is another tie between. Yeah, the result is here. Best role player, Toastmaster Vishnu and Toastmaster Pooja. Both of you have done the wonderful job. One weaved the story and weaved the beads in that story. Story was the thread and wonderful beads. And Toastmaster Pooja, you have done wonderful job. What a topic. I mean, weaving a story with these three elements is wonderful. Thank you very much for those beautiful topics. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
And now with this, we are coming towards the end. We have our speakers community Toastmasters president here. I would like to, before I conclude, I would like to hand over to Toastmaster Kalpana to say a few words. Though she was not able to attend full meeting, but whatever she attended, I would like to know her, what she felt about it.
Thank you so much, Vrindavani, for actually taking the baton and standing up. I just reached out to you today morning. Something cropped up and I found that I may not be able to reach home in time. So yes, I did get some time while I was traveling back, and I thought of just, peeping into the meeting, and I did manage to hear a part of DTM Arvind's, you can say, educative session. It was wonderful. And though I wanted to be present for the table topic masters round, which I was looking forward to, and Vishnu's, flow of storytelling, I unfortunately just couldn't, because I realized as soon as we landed, my family demanded food because everyone wanted lunch. And so unfortunately, I found, that I just had to be there. But looking at everybody's faces, looking at the general evaluator, Toastmaster Mohit's report, I think everyone has had a wonderful time. And that is what a joint meeting is all about, so that we exchange ideas, we come closer, networking, and our net worth grows because we know each other and we know that we have made a platform to reach out and, sort of be into a Toastmasters family warmly. My thanks to each and every one of you. And yes, I will be reaching out personally to Arvind, who actually agreed. And I think for me, that was the cherry on the cake, that I did manage to convince him to come in, tell us or guide us regarding evaluations. Thank you for joining us, Mumbai Central. Let's keep having meetings. And Brinda, yes, I've had joint meeting with many clubs. I enjoyed the responsible way you responded when it came to gathering role players and, passing the information, sharing the information. Whereas, it becomes very difficult when we coordinate. But I mean, your responses were prompt. I just felt very comfortable, and kudos. Thank you so much. Thank you for giving, that kind of a camaraderie where we felt that you were a part of our club. So thank you each and every one of you from Mumbai Central. With that, I'll hand over the stage back to you and I'll ask you to do the honors of closing the meeting too. Thank you, Vrindavan. Over to you.
Thank you, Toastmaster Kalpana. To end this meeting, I would like to say, do you remember our mothers used to tell us a story? It has been a powerful tool to educate children for generations. By telling stories, mother was and is able to convey important lessons, values in way that is engaging, memorable. Through these stories, children can learn about the world around them, develop their imaginations and creativity, and gain a deeper understanding of their own identity and culture. And this tradition was today continued by our Toastmaster of the day, Toastmaster Vishnu. We also saw in our today's educational session, and we understood that evaluation is helpful in Toastmasters and in life because it provides constructive feedback that helps us improve our skills and ability. Through evaluation, we can identify our strengths, our weaknesses, and make changes that help us achieve our goals and reach our full potential. He's not here right now, but I would still like to thank him, the distinguished Toastmaster Arvind Nair, for that informative, wonderful session. And I would like to thank you, each one of you being here, taking part, taking roles, and making our session wonderful. This is a learning for me. It is a learning for you too. Keep taking part, keep learning, and let's come together and have a blast. Now, I declare this meeting is adjourned. Thank you.